Hello, blessings. I hope you're doing well. I am grateful for your presence and I am grateful for the blessings and the overlighting presence of beloved Jesus Christ here during these study sessions. So as we begin this session, I would like to invite each of us to be open and receptive as beloved Christ will share his cosmic golden illuminating rays of light upon our consciousness for greater illumination, greater divine enlightenment, greater wisdom, and greater divine union. And so as we hold our space, we can allow ourselves to visualize a golden illuminating ray of light pouring upon us, opening our heart space. Mighty beloved, I am God presence within, above, and all around us. We open ourselves to beloved Christ and his golden cosmic angels as we call upon his cosmic presence into each of our lives at this moment, as we remain open and receptive. As we hold space for a minute, welcoming the golden illuminating rays of light. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. Thank you, beloved Christ. We love you, we bless you, and we love and bless all your golden cosmic Christ angels. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, beloved Christ. Adonai, Adonai, Adonai. So, as this being the first introductory video session, today we will cover the objectives and the goals of these study sessions. And we are going to be focusing on the letters of beloved Christ. This is the book. This is the expanded version. It is available on Amazon to buy the hard copy. And the PDF version, the electronic copy, is available for free to download. I will be able to link it in the description box below if you'd like to download it and study it yourself. Beloved Christ invites us that as we allow ourselves to focus and study on these materials, we can call upon Him before every reading session, study session, and just as we did, we can hold space for a minute, welcoming His illuminating light for greater enlightenment. And He invites us that these pages, we can take time to read it, even if it's just a page, because from my own experience, the more we continue to expand our consciousness, every time we go back and reflect on these pages, we learn something new. There is such depth to the material, the words in these letters, that it is better to take it slow and welcome His illuminating presence. And so as we begin this study sessions, I would like to bring the information of a particular painting. This painting is called The Light of the World, and this is a particular painting that has been overlighted upon the artist, the English artist by the name William Holman Hunt, and this was painted between 1851. And I will of course link Wikipedia link if you'd like to read about this painting. It is an allegorical painting. It does say, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and will sup with him and he with me." And so if we look at the painting and observe the painting, we will notice that there is no door bolt on the outside. And so the point being, it is up to each of us to open from inside, from within, to welcome His presence. And it is up to each of us to be able to discern upon our own path, our own journey of welcoming higher consciousness and elevating to our highest potential timeline, highest potential soul frequency, which is the divine illumination of Christ consciousness. And so, as we begin the study sessions, I want to start with a particular page number. So this is the first particular letter, and I will read the first few lines to highlight the objective and why these letters are here with us. I, the Christ, take this opportunity to speak directly to you. I have come to rectify the misinterpretations placed on the teachings given when known as Jesus in Palestine 2000 years ago. They are being put through one, he refers to the letters, who during the past 40 years has been spiritually sensitive and dedicated enough to receive my words and act on them. These letters are truth. They transcend all religious doctrines in the world. These letters will liberate you. They are for all people who are searching for meaning to existence, purpose in their lives, strength to face the daily struggle, to live and endure hardship, sickness, despair, and inspiration, for those who aspire to greater awareness, greater spiritual awareness in their daily lives. You might say that these letters are a master's course for those who are ready to put foot to the path which I traveled when on earth in Palestine. You may doubt that the above words are true. As you read these pages and go into the facts I'm giving you concerning existence and the origins of personality, you will realize that this truth could only have come from the highest source. So he does invite us that people who have difficulty in understanding letters can read them one page at a time, and then to put them aside and then meditate and then read them again. And eventually, in time, it will begin to seep into our consciousness. And so he is specifically mentioning about his teachings that have been misinterpreted, misconstrued in the Bible, and some of them, as we are beginning to learn now, some of them have not even been included. Some of the most of it has been omitted, as a matter of fact, and misconstrued. So he has come here to rectify that and bring it into our own spiritual awareness, our consciousness, that the truth will always prevail, regardless of the handiworks of the human lower consciousness. I will read a statement from page number 63. Therefore, I knew I had been perfectly fashioned and honed to become a purified instrument of divine action in Palestine, driven by my passion for truth and driven by my compassion for my fellow human beings. Hence, I called myself Son of Man, because I knew exactly what mankind was up against in their daily lives. So I bring this statement to our awareness as I read this, in which he speaks about his awareness and the consciousness of the people during that time, and his deep compassion and understanding for the lack of higher spiritual consciousness of our true essence among his fellow men. And so he deeply therefore wanted to bring into their conscious awareness of what is the true reality of life itself. And so therefore he mentions an incident in which a man had a conversation with him when it came to him trying to break it down about consciousness, because we have to be aware that this was about 2,000 years ago. And so the consciousness, as per each, even within each millennia, between centuries itself, our consciousness has elevated. And so in the past 2,000 years, he was trying to bring in higher consciousness in the conscious language of that particular time. And so therefore there was a conversation in which he asked this question. It is from page number 55. And now I will ask you, what is the most real and valuable part of a man, his body or his mind? So he mentions that some answered it was the body, while some mentioned it was the mind. And so he answers to them, his mind is the most important part of him, since Without his mind, he could not power his body. He would not drink, sleep, move, plan, or live. Yet we cannot see mind. We can only know we have a mind because of the thought it produces and because the thoughts fashion some kind of action in our lives. We believe mind works through the brain. Yes, it does. But how could brain, born of flesh, produce thoughts, feelings, ideas, and plans? And now it should be clear to you that this is how the Father is present within all things. It is the directing mind behind the human mind, working its great works within every living thing. And so he is trying to bring into the conscious awareness of how the higher intelligence, to whom he referred as the Father, because the Father was used to evoke a sense of security, a sense of all-encompassing love and guardianship. And so when he was trying to bring in the awareness of the mind as being directed by a higher consciousness, he was bringing in these allegorical terms. And so he brought in the body as that which in our current consciousness we do understand, the human ego, the lower human ego, that is what drives our human physicality, our reality, and that is what we always associate our own reality with. And therefore the body in this specific instance he mentions as the parameters of vibrational frequencies of consciousness. And so I will bring in a quotation here again from page 111. He mentions that whilst living on earth, our minds, your minds, remain anchored within certain parameters of vibrational frequencies, imprisoned in bodies which have their own needs, brought into our conscious awareness, yet we cannot truly soar beyond these parameters in human form, yet we can elevate our consciousness. In a sense, he also states that when I was trapped in a body, I was also largely confined to these parameters of vibrational frequencies and consciousness. So he mentions that imagination alone can soar no further than your previous experience, and therefore you are confined to your past which you project into your future. It is to state that if we allow ourselves to just using our imagination alone of transcending beyond our consciousness, the imagination it works as per our own limited experience and our perceived consciousness. And so therefore, what have been perceived and what has been made aware, we bring that forth into our imagination. And therefore it is the past which I've already thought, perceived, that is the past that is being projected into our future. And so there is a limitation to pushing beyond the boundaries of our own consciousness. As people, as a collective, when we evolve, certain sensitive sections, certain sensitive individuals who are spiritually, energetically sensitive, if an individual can perceive, is more sensitive to spiritual energies, and if he brings it to light for another consciousness, that another person will be able to allow their mind to open, register new information, and therefore through that information that has been received, we are able to now formulate a new goal a new awareness. And what is this goal? The goal is the higher vision of our own path, of our own trajectory. And therefore, it helps that we co-create, we co-relate, and we share to evolve, to unlock higher frequencies of consciousness. And so therefore the goal of these letters are also so that our own consciousness gets unlocked into a higher state of awareness. And so the goal is of these letters is to bring enlightenment, number one, and number two is to enable humanity to construct a new consciousness during the next 2000 years, which he states this in page number 4. He states that these letters are the seeds of the future spiritual evolution of man. When he speaks of constructing a new consciousness, I will bring in an example. The parables and the references that he brought in his teachings 2000 years ago were as per the consciousness, the evolving consciousness of humanity back in those days. And yet, if he were to have brought this during the time when mankind had fallen into the lowest form of consciousness of the caveman mentality consciousness, state of consciousness, even those concepts that he mentioned 2000 years ago would have been too undigestible, would not have been comprehended at all. Meaning, as we evolve, we need newer syllabus. And so, as we are now in this current state of evolution of consciousness, we need the upgraded syllabus. And these particular letters are the seeds of consciousness, of spiritual evolution for the next 2000 years. Because after another 2000 years, even these letters we would have to upgrade it in a sense. We will focus on these letters in terms of really being aware of our own internalization of what we perceive and project, and bring that into manifested reality. Meaning, the spiritual energy is what gets manifested into our reality. Because as creator beings, as beings with the Kot spark, we came here into physical experience to allow ourselves to feel the power of our consciousness manifested into physical reality. Because from the planes of where we have existed and we have dropped down in terms of physical reality, we came here to manifest using the power of our consciousness. So it is up to each of us whether we are manifesting our highest potential, or are we allowing ourselves to get muddled in lower frequencies. Because as like attracts like, the more we are operating in higher frequencies, we are able to manifest the highest possible realities. Everything happens in the spiritual energy first before it gets manifested into the physical. The physical is the lowest octave of manifestation, and therefore he speaks of the bonding and rejection in these letters, and this will be the main base core of focus during these study sessions. And when he refers as the bonding, what he refers as the bonding and rejection is the magnetism and the magnetic attraction and the repelling. So I will bring in two examples. One is the example of a ceiling fan. If you look at a ceiling fan and when it is not powered on and as it remains still, if you throw something at it, it'll get stuck there. If you throw some slimy object at it, or it will land upon it, either boomerang it back or land upon it, depending on the force and the object, of course. However, if this object is spinning with its highest power, then it will boomerang the object back with much greater force. And so this is an example of whether we are operating in a high frequency or whether we are operating in a lower frequency. If we're operating in a lower frequency, we remain susceptible to the onslaughts of external energies. But if you're operating at the highest frequencies, we automatically are going to be repelling the energies, the objects that is not aligned with our frequency. And so meaning we are always, coming back to the painting I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it is up to us to open the door. However, are we remaining as open doors? Are we going to open the door to the highest frequencies or to the lower frequencies? Because when you're in a lower state of frequency, you're more, the door is more open for the lower, slower moving energies. But yet when you're operating to the higher frequencies, you remain an open door to be operating at the higher frequencies, pulling in more like a whirlpool, like a cyclone. If we are spinning, we are pulling in more of the higher frequencies, which is higher cosmic dimensional frequencies. And so this is also the reference of being the light of this world, to be so light, because the higher we rise, if you look at the floating balloon, if you throw that into a body of water, it floats. But if you throw a stone in it, it sinks. So the higher we rise, we become more lighter. The higher we maintain the frequency of light. And therefore, light is not just being a state of being of lightness, but we also emit the light frequencies of radiating light. And also we rise up lighter. And so we will be focusing on these the foundation of our consciousness, our perceived reality, because point he mentions from page number 111 that we spoke of the parameters of vibrational frequencies of the body, he does mention that the bonding rejection is through the cleansing of the human consciousness. And so the cleansing of the human consciousness is the impulse of bodily, earthly impulses, reactions, and to transcend beyond that step by step. And so it's like a filtration process, cleansing it through our conscious awareness, through our conscious dedication. Because when we are able to focus on elevating our consciousness to become the light, to be the light, we are also able to manifest greater abundance and prosperity in our lives, because abundance, prosperity, joy, these are all frequencies of lighter frequencies. The higher frequencies, the more manifestations are also quicker. The lower frequencies, the manifestations are the manifestations of lower frequencies, that is being stuck, that is being slow moving, that is being also being in a state of consciousness where we are manifesting the unconstructive, destructive situations in our lives. And so when he said that he is the way, the truth, and the life, he is the light of the world, he always used the word I am. And I am is the statement in which he is referring to the higher states of consciousness. Because when we allow ourselves to be the vessels of higher state of consciousness, we are operating in divine frequencies, the God frequency, the Father frequency, intelligence mind, the Mother frequency of divine love. When he said, I am the light of the world, he is bringing in, affirming that I am the God in me, the God frequency in me is the light, the highest vibration of the world. And when I am the way, the truth, a lot of people think of the way as being going through the transition of the physical death and then going to heaven or to the purgatory levels of hell, which we are now aware that in 350 AD, the Roman Catholic Church itself has accepted that they created the concept of hell in the Bible to have control over the people. And so when he is talking about the way, the light, the way is to be, to own the higher frequencies of God consciousness and experience it in this physical world, to manifest, to evolve our consciousness to the highest, greatest possible, infinite possibility of the consciousness, the divine intelligence of the mind. Because from the planes of where, the realms of where, as souls came in, if we think of heaven, it is the state of consciousness. Hell is a state of consciousness when we are in constant lower vibrational frequencies. Because our true state of beingness is so elevated that to be stuck in a frequency that is not of our true essence, that in itself is hell. It is just that we have become so used to the external frequencies of allowing it to control our consciousness that it has become the normal. It is not just a new normal, it's been the normal for the past millions of years. And so as we journey back home, we came here to experience the highest vibrational frequencies of light, of beingness. And to journey back home is to return to our true essence of operating in God consciousness, where we can manifest miracles. Because when we are in higher states of frequencies, we are going to be manifesting at higher rates, and those may seem as miracles to the consciousness that has been so used at moving in slow motion, that when you're operating higher frequencies and you're manifesting things like that, then it becomes like, oh my goodness, it's a miracle. So together we're going to be creating miracles through these study sessions. I invite you to join me every week as we bring in more enlightened states of awareness into these studies. I thank you for being here. I love you. I bless you. Peace be with you. Bye.